Guys, what's the crack? That bull market was good while it lasted, but hey, here we go. Deep bear market, we're back, baby. Gonna chat to you, haven't too much time this morning, but I said I better get a video out because especially newer people who haven't yet done their work and they value everything on price. Price dictates how they feel and price dictates what they think about the asset. Okay, whether it's good or bad, all dictates on the current price, the daily price. And obviously, this is a terrible way to be an investor, and we can teach you how to do better, but we all have to start somewhere. So while I do the intro, while everyone hops on, guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Dinny from Bitcoin With Dinny. We're Ireland's first Bitcoin consulting company, and for 4 years now, we've helped people to understand Bitcoin so they can use it to retire themselves early and build their own plans. And we've also helped them to custody Bitcoin so they custody it securely and they're not holding it in their house or holding it on an exchange or anything silly like that. So we call it the daily exercise. If you like what's going on here, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you like the page, make sure you subscribe, because then your social media will show you more of this type of stuff, which is good if you want to retire early. So what's happening? Price Bitcoin is down. Big crash last couple of days. And first thing I'll say is, this is perfectly normal in bull markets, okay? Having 30% price volatility. We haven't even got near 30% yet, okay? And if you're not able for the corrections, for when the market just needs to reset, okay, then you won't be able for all the upside. You'll be an emotional investor, which will mean you won't buy when you should, and you'll sell when you shouldn't, and you'll just make decisions that in hindsight you regret. Now, this is how typical retail people invest into this space, and we've all done it, okay? And over the years, you either get educated or you learn the school of hard knocks, and eventually you figure out that if you invest into Bitcoin using your emotions, you will do terrible. In fact, you'll probably just lose money. And that's why we don't do that, and that's why in everything I do, like I'm heading up to the office there now, I have a meeting at noon, and I'll be building a strategy with my client. We'll be literally getting pen to paper and creating a defined strategy for the next 4 years. So there'll be no emotional decisions needed, okay? We'll just create a plan that the client's happy with, that works for the client's financial situation, and his goals, and his timeline, and everything else, and it'll be a minimum of 4 years is the way I do it, okay? And then the client doesn't have to even look at the Bitcoin price for the next 4 years. And that's the beauty of it. If you can detach yourself from the price, you do so much better. So pullbacks are normal. They're part of it. As we go into the better stages of this bull market, you know, you're going to have people here who think they're really smart and they think, oh, it's the top, I'm going to sell now. And they'll sell their Bitcoin and then it'll rip higher and they'll rebuy in. And guess what they'll do? They'll just make sure that they have less Bitcoin and they have more tax to pay. Okay. And we see it every cycle. I see people who are, I call them the geniuses. Okay. But the geniuses, where are they in the bear markets? They're always here in the bull market and they're always given expert price predictions. But then in the bear market that we've just been through for the last couple of years, you never hear them. They're gone. And I'll tell you where they're gone. They're gone back to work because they have to work, because they've no idea how to invest properly. Okay, so luckily you're here and we'll tell you how to do it and how to do it correctly. So what I would say to you is, and the reason for the dump is grayscale. There's massive selling pressure from that. Okay, and there's a couple of reasons for that. One, the fees are too high. Two, you have the hangover from the 2022 when all those exchanges got caught in the Luna trade and they all went out of business and they all went bankrupt. And DCG is like a part of grayscale. And now the SEC. So remember the SEC, their job is investor protection. Well, the SEC are suing Digital Currency Group for, I can't remember the figure now. Could be 20 million or maybe it's 200 million. I don't know. It's a lot of cash anyway. Okay. So the SEC, the government body whose job it is to protect the investors, are literally causing this crash. And if you've been in this space for any length of time, you probably know by now that the SEC does nothing to protect the investor. In fact, it just makes the investors' experience in this space woeful, and all they do is rent seek and try and steal money. Or maybe not steal, maybe just milk off the top, cream off the top, whatever. Typical. But that's what's happening there anyway. And so there's a big outflow from grayscale. But it's going to end. Doesn't take from the fact that the amount of Bitcoin that's been gobbled up by these ETFs, hasn't stabilized. It's actually increasing. Okay, so the amount of Bitcoin gobbled up by ETFs is actually increasing. There's more Bitcoin. So we're nearly at 5,000 Bitcoins per day being purchased by these ETFs. Bitcoin halves in 30 days' time, which means the supply drops to 450. So my question to you is, where do the coins come from that are needed for these ETFs to purchase Bitcoin if they're simply not available? The only place they come from is by bidding up the price. Now, a company like MicroStrategy now holds 1% of the Bitcoin supply, and they'll never sell them. Some of these ETFs, okay, these are more sophisticated investors. They're not like your typical retail person who has no idea the difference between Bitcoin and crypto, thinks it's all the same, and is shopping on Done Deal or Carzone for the Lamborghini they're going to buy at the end of the year. Okay, we know that these people won't make any money. They'll get washed, rinsed, and we'll repeat the cycle every 4 years with a new cohort of retail people who all think they're geniuses. Okay, these aren't the people I want holding Bitcoin. Okay, I want people who understand Bitcoin, holding Bitcoin, because once you understand Bitcoin, you know what you own. Okay, and you never want to give it up. So the coins, whatever you manage to accumulate, the Satoshis, they become illiquid, okay? Meaning they're not available for supply, because it would be so foolish if you actually understood when you do the work and realize what you own. It makes absolutely no sense to try and trade it, okay? It just doesn't. It's a really foolish thing that you'll do, and you'll regret it in 5 years, and you'll regret it more in a decade, and you'll regret it much more in 2 decades, and it'll be your dying regret, perhaps, okay? So it's better that the coins leave unsophisticated investors' hands and go into sophisticated investors, okay? Because those coins then become illiquid, meaning they're not for sale anymore. So, and again, if you've been here, guys, okay, and you've been through the bear market, you know this, okay? We rode Bitcoin from 69,000 to 16 grand. This is a crash for ants, okay? Traditional people who don't understand it will be like, everyone's lost their money. People who understand this are like, no, if you own 0.1 of a Bitcoin, you own 0.1 of a Bitcoin regardless of the current market price. And if you wind it back every 5 years, you'll find that owning 0.1 of a Bitcoin, it was never a good decision to sell it. Why? Because every 5 years it's worth a hell of a lot more. Despite having these massive in-between volatility or crashes where technically you lose all your money. Of course you lose all your money. If you sell, you lose all your money. Okay? Like if you buy an apartment in 2010 and you buy it for pennies, okay, and then in 2012 it's for sale, the one next door to it is for sale for 30 grand less. Have you lost your money? No. If you decide to sell it for less than you paid for it, now you've lost your money. But if you're a smart person, you're like, it's an apartment. It's in Dublin. There's going to be more people born in the next 10 years, and there's going to be more money printed. So I think my apartment will be okay. I think it will recover. I don't think I should sell it at a loss. It doesn't make sense to me to do that. Okay, and hey presto, if you've done that, now you're really wealthy in property and people say you got lucky. And this is the irony. You can't listen to people who have no idea how to invest. Now I have to give you my disclosures. Nothing here is financial advice, okay? I'm not your financial advisor, okay? I'm a Bitcoiner. I teach people how the technology works so they can make better decisions on if they want to use it. I teach them all the do's and do nots. I teach them all the security. But I'm not going to manage your money for you. Okay, so don't take anything you hear here as financial advice. You do you, I'll do me. I'm doing okay by doing me, so I'll continue to do as I do. Okay, now in positive news, focus on the fundamentals, not the current price. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, the price is the lagging indicator. The price to me is the least interesting thing. I focus on the fundamentals. Well, this week, Japan's largest pension fund, worth 1.5 trillion. That's more than the entirety of Bitcoin, okay, is doing work on the pension owning Bitcoin. Now, I've been saying this for years. All pensions will own Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the perfect vehicle for a pension to own. It has none of the risk of equities. It's just programmed to get scarcer and scarcer over time. So it basically fulfills what a pension should do. The job of a pension is to protect capital. Okay, something is programmed to get scarcer over time. Well, what does it do? It protects capital. Okay, and the second job of a pension is to grow the capital, okay, but conservatively grow it. Don't risk the capital, don't blow it up, because whoever's pension it is, you go back and say, by the way, we were trying to make you loads of money, but we lost all your money. And this happens in traditional pensions. Go and ask any of your friends who are retired. I promise you'll find loads of people with horror stories in pensions. That's why I don't have one. That's why I never had one. And that's why I don't believe the way they're sold to people as to be all and end all. I believe everybody should create their own pension and understand how to do it themselves so they don't have to take all the risks that the traditional pension system gives to them. And it's not disclosed to them adequately, I don't think, because by the time you find out it was a scam or you lost all your money, you know, you're nearly 70. You can't do anything about it. Can't really kick up a fuss then, okay? So that's why it's super important to take control. You don't have to take control. If you have a pension, keep your pension. Fantastic. But build another iron in the fire, because this is what investors do. Okay, we have many irons in the fire. We're not reliant on any one outcome. So, Japan's largest pension fund are investigating putting Bitcoin into it. What do you think every other pension fund on the planet's going to do? You're going to own Bitcoin in the future, whether you own it or not, just by virtue of having a pension. Okay? But if you choose to be an early adopter and move and do the work that others aren't prepared to do and build your pension before Japan's 1.5 or 4 trillion dollar pension come into Bitcoin, okay, you won't have to worry about it because you'll be retired long before then, I believe. Okay, so let's focus on the positives. With Bitcoin, I think it's in your best interest to stay positive. Okay, and what I mean by that is, and I'm not just saying that just wishy-washy. There's wisdom, and I believe there's wisdom in a lot of things I say, lads. Okay, but by being positive in the Bitcoin space, by being positive Bitcoin means you're long Bitcoin, means you'll choose to own Bitcoin. And there's nothing else you could have done with your wealth, okay, than be exposed to Bitcoin over the last 14 years, going on 15. And that's why it makes sense to be positive Bitcoin, okay? This thing is just monetizing. There's going to be extreme volatility. It's going to shake out the weak hands, people who just want to get rich. Easy. And one more thing I'll say, because I think the opposite than the way most people think. Why do I keep getting slow connection here? How will persevere? What I see is these pullbacks as opportunities, okay? If you didn't actually make your move and you wanted everything to be confirmed. It's like you've got confirmation, you've got confirmation of the bull market, you didn't make your moves, you dilly-dallied, and now you get a second chance. They've brought the boat back to you. Get on the boat. We're all on the boat. Are you not on the boat? You might want to get on the boat. And that's how I personally will play things like this with pullbacks. I see them as opportunities. It doesn't worry me one bit because I understand the fundamentals. And if you don't understand the fundamentals, go and read some Bitcoin books, okay? Get into them. Get into our entirely course over the next year. Well, you can't get into it now because it's closed. But it'll open up next month possibly, once all the current clients are on board and happy. But literally over a year, we teach you everything you need to know. So you understand market fundamentals, you understand how markets work, and you understand how Bitcoin works, and you understand how the price action works and why the price action works sort of this way. Anyway, have a super day, keep learning, and remember, go and have a look at any bull market and you will see numerous 30% pullbacks. We haven't even got there yet. So maybe this crash is only halfway in. I hope you're ready for some more. I know what I'll be doing. I'll just be sticking to my strategy as I always have done. Okay? And that's the beauty of having a strategy. And if you don't have one, guys, create a strategy for yourself. Just write something down, figure it out. And your life will be much more easy. You won't even have to go on YouTube and look at all the videos and have people shouting at you and wonder should you buy or should you sell or what should you do. Because I guarantee you, if you're an emotional investor, you'll always make the wrong decision. In hindsight, you'll just realise it was. Look back on any of your previous investment decisions that were done by emotion, and I'm pretty sure they were suboptimal at best. So, to all our OGs, all the people who know what they're doing and are building, congratulations. Well done on being here. We've got 64k Bitcoin, $64,000 Bitcoin. What a gift to everyone who's been building here for the last few years. Keep on point. Supply demand economics, as I keep saying, and I have to come on every time. Remember when the ETFs launched? Anyone remember 2 months ago when the ETFs launched and the price went down? And then all the no-coiners came out of the woodwork, or all the new coiners who just bought Bitcoin came out and went, ETF launched and the price crashed, like what's going on? It's broken, is it? It's like, it's going to do whatever you think it's going to do. It's going to do the opposite. That's what markets do. They move money from unsophisticated to more sophisticated people. Okay, and here we are again, 2 months later, and the same cohort of people will be writing comments on this video going, I told you, the halving is in less than 30 days and now the price went down. It's obviously finished, it's broken, it's over. Bitcoin's gone. It's like, okay, the largest supercomputer on the planet will just cease to exist. Biggest footprint of all these mining centers all over the globe. Yeah, they'll probably just disappear. That'll probably just happen. You're dead right. Have fun staying poor, okay, is what Bitcoiners will say to you when they're sick of your nonsense. Bitcoin's a global asset now. You've got to do the work on it. Okay, you've got to do the work. You can't ignore it anymore. Congratulations to everyone who's doing the work, down the rabbit hole, putting their time into this thing, allocating to this thing and building their own Bitcoin early retirement strategy. Well done, guys. In 10 years' time, they'll tell you got lucky. You'll be expecting high fives and pats on the back, and your peers will say you got lucky. But anyway, Bitcoiners know you've done the work. Have a super day, guys. Got to get out of here. Up to the consulting office for some sessions today. Dinny out.